what are the latest numbers that are looking at? We know that NCR was encouraging the past weeks, but we were seeing the spread in the outside of NCR. Is anything changing that's worth noting?
Well, Robbie, as was mentioned in the soundbite, what we're seeing right now is a flattish trend in the NCR, actually almost everywhere, except for maybe a few isolated hotspots. So even Davao City is fairly flat. The ones that are not flat, aside from Mariveles, Bataan, which was mentioned, is in Central Visayas. They're having an increase right now in Central Visayas. Well, it is slightly increasing, but the reproduction number is still below 1.4, which would classify it as not very high. But in Central Visayas, in Cebu City,
Lapu-Lapu, mataas eh, no?
Right,
Yeah.
but it's not I mean, I wouldn't classify it as a third wave yet, because I've been hearing that they're calling it already the third wave, because the numbers are still relatively low. I mean, even the rate of increase in Cebu City, I checked over the past month, they only doubled their caseload after 1 month. This is relatively slow. This does not look like the Delta variant, for example. This looks like maybe the Alpha or the Beta variant that is spreading slowly because there are some mitigating factors. I mean, of course, we don't have the data to support this. This is just our observation, and I'm sure Father Nick would agree with that assessment.
What's the difference
But
between
how should we? How
when
should we?
yeah, sorry, Luchi.
Yeah, how should we read? Yeah, how should we read a flattish?
Well, flattish is not the same as flattening of the curve. So when we say flattish, it just means that the cases are not increasing or decreasing. So right now we're about 5,500 cases per day nationally. We haven't really seen a decrease. We haven't seen it go down to I mean, on Tuesdays and Wednesdays it will go down to 4,000 maybe, but the average is more or less the same. We're not seeing a jump to 8,000, but we're not seeing a dip to 3,000 or below. So it's generally the same level. It's not increasing or decreasing. And people are asking me, is that good? Well, if it was increasing before, like Davao City, that means the increase has slowed down, so now it's plateauing. But in the NCR, where it was decreasing over the past months, and now suddenly it's flattish. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's not so bad, but we hope that we would hope that the cases would further decrease down, because I mean, we're still getting 650 cases per day. That's that's not.
Speaking of which, you were pointing out before that now it's down. I mean, last time you were here, you said it's like NCR was now accounting for around 25% of the national case, which is an inverse of what it was before, where the majority was here in NCR and then spread out yung tira sa rest of the country. But what's the difference in terms of the potential to spread, whether it's centralized from where the majority is coming from Metro Manila versus the situation now, where you still have high numbers in total, but Metro Manila is not necessarily accounting for the majority of that. What does that mean in terms of the spread and the speed of the spread?
Well, I will answer that, and then Father can add to that, because I'm sure he wants to add some more a layer of analysis there. Because yes, you have a good point. Is it better for the NCR to have majority of the cases, or like what we're having now? We would rather have what we have now, because what we have seen is that it is more difficult to contain the spread of the pandemic in the NCR. In fact, that's why Father Nick's model shows that we have to prioritize the NCR in the vaccination. It's more difficult to control, and right now it's controlled, and that's why the cases are not exploding in the entire Philippines. Yes, we have seen a rise in cases. I mean, even Dumaguete, but look where Dumaguete is now. It's already controlled. So the smaller LGUs, what we're seeing is that, especially local governments which have populations of about 100,000, or less, they're much easier to control in terms of the pandemic.